Welcome back. In Pacific News, the heads of investment promotion agencies of the Melanesian Spearhead Group countries, Fiji, PNG, Solomon Islands and Vanuatu, met in Nadi today to discuss private sector policy issues. One of the key issues discussed was the private sector development priorities of the MSG in line with the goals of the European Union-funded Pacific Integration Technical Assistance Project. Investment promotion CEOs and officials from MSG countries discussed a number of key issues and looked at ways to strengthen relationships to support sustained private investment growth. High on the agenda was a private sector development strategy to encourage investment that would create jobs for the thousands of school leavers who come out of the MSG countries every year.
One piece of data that we've got to be mindful of is at the end of every school year, November each year, at least 100,000 of our young people leave school and they're looking for employment. And a very small proportion of that 100,000, group of 100,000, they find jobs in the formal sector. A lot of them will find themselves in the informal sector.
MSG countries are currently negotiating a more comprehensive trade agreement that will include trade in services and labour mobility. But without a strong private sector, the revised MSG trade agreement, set to be adopted in November, would be ineffective.
Without the engagement of the private sector, the best trade agreement will be meaningless. So it's the private sector that is the target group for such trade agreements, to enhance trading, intra-MSG trading between Fiji and the rest of the countries and the rest of the countries with Fiji. And the private sector, they play a crucial role in the economy.
Following the meeting of investment promotion agencies today, trade and economic officials will meet Friday before the MSG Trade Ministers meeting on Monday. The Melanesian Spearhead Group is finalizing a private sector development strategy that will be presented for adoption by MSG ministers in November this year. The report is being compiled by Fiji's former ambassador to the United States and former Fiji Trade Investment Board CEO Chisoni Vitusangavulu. After almost 2 months of consultations, Vitusangavulu presented the draft of the report today to the MSG heads of investment agencies meeting in Nadi.
There are more to entrepreneurship or private sector than just those people in the city. So a focus of this strategy is to try and incentivize those private sector people that have not been participating in the work of increasing investment and growing the private sector up until now.
The study has 3 themes: overcoming resistance and roadblocks for reforms, unleashing entrepreneurship in rural economies, and pursuing a climate change responsible strategy.
We'll really encourage them to expand their enterprises. For those in the informal sector, they can become formal participants and access some of the assistance that they are not currently getting now on account of their status.
The MSG private sector development strategy was funded by the European Union through the Pacific Integration Technical Assistance Project.